Welcome back to Shop Quinky. My name is Moxie Rose and I am the in-house educator and spokesperson for Shop Quinky. Up next in our VIP interviews is Danie, who is one of our content creators. As Danie will tell you, she has kind of used content creation of a spicy nature to empower herself, especially after being raised in a very strict religious household that came with a lot of religious trauma. And not only does she use it to empower herself, she uses it to empower others. Let's meet the creator. Welcome to Shop Quinky. I'm excited to be talking to you. So your name is Danie. Danie, you signed up as one of the content creators. Tell me a little bit about that.
I really like working with different kinds of brands and artists of sorts. So when I saw that Quinky was being crowdfunded, I wanted to hop right in on it because I really have been exploring my own sexuality and to help other people and advocate for body positivity.
I love that.
I also really appreciated the Mr. Pierre brand and the education that you did as well. So like being a part of it really means a lot to me.
I appreciate that. So the type of content that you want to make for Quinky, is it kind of the same as what you've been doing, or did you want to try doing something new when it came to the content for Shop Quinky?
It's going to be pretty new. I've dabbled a little bit in like modeling and like doing like EDM or like 21 plus event, kind of modeling. But this will kind of push me into the whole realm of like Quinky and what it means to be like a Quink creator, which is exciting for me because it's really a part of my personal growth coming from like a religious faith background and like kind of deconstructing that idea or that concept of sexuality that was kind of put on me as a woman to have like my sexuality validated by a man or in a marriage and like coming from that and like growing in my own like idea of what sexuality looks like for myself and how can I express it without anybody else. I can just be the sexual person that I am. This is part of my growth and my development, being able to express that and feel comfortable in my body. I'm 4'10", so like being told like, oh, you can't model, you're not gonna be like the typical idea of a woman, things like that we hear all the time on femme bodies. I just really love being able to be in spaces that I can defy that and I can be however sexy I want to be and like self collar and wear leather and enjoy like Quinky products by myself and with other people too.
I love that. That has got to be one of the most like perfectly put, like beautiful answers to that. Like I really appreciate that stance on how you kind of got into this, because that's the same for a lot of people, is that that'll be relatable for a lot of people, is that, the religious trauma background, or even just a religious background, even if it didn't necessarily traumatize the person but kind of shaped who they were. And then the people that really did experience religious trauma that formed kind of who they were, that that they either wanted to be something in spite of that, or like that they just moved away from it. And I really appreciate the people that have taken that in a very healthy direction, and not only for themselves but want to kind of reach back behind them to the people still back there and say, okay, I did it, here's how I did it, let me help you. Is that kind of what your content, like aside from Shop Quinky, is that kind of what your content has been based around? Or is it kind of been more like a mix of your modeling stuff?
I would say it's a little bit of both. So like Instagram, I've definitely been a little bit more like the model, the photo, like the encouraging in general of like mental health and body positivity. On TikTok, I've been dabbling a lot more with like what can I get away with myself on what I show off, you know, way back when, even wearing a bathing suit around people made me feel uncomfortable. And like it could be a two-piece, a one-piece, didn't matter. Because of that like idea of modesty and purity. And so now like TikTok, I can kind of play around a little bit more with some of the thirsty traps or like wearing some of the leathers. Feel a little bit more comfortable on there. This is gonna be something that I can really expand more and also represent crafters too, who are, I get to wear their art. And yeah, remind people, even if they have a fake system, your sexuality can be whatever it wants to be and whatever it's for you, you know, and however that feels. And it can be just as simple as wearing a collar around the house, which is actually what I do. I don't wear my collar out in public because I'm still not there yet. And I almost wore it for this video because I wanted to, like, push myself. But at the end of the day, it's like whatever you're comfortable with, baby steps, you know? And so that I want to be that kind of cheerleader, a Quinky cheerleader of everybody.
Quinky cheerleader. And the part that you talked about, like how customizable it is, that like it is whatever you make of it, it's what you're comfortable with, it's all, whether it's something that you are uncomfortable or comfortable with, or just something that you like versus like it's just not doing anything for you. It really is kind of what you want to make of it. And I know that that was kind of something that came up a little bit in the questionnaire that we send ahead of the interviews, where we asked about like kinky pet peeves. And you had a really good one that I definitely find myself getting up on a soapbox about too, is the idea of what people think somebody in a submissive role should be or appear. And it's very kind of demure and like, very quiet and mousy, almost very submissive in like an outward nature. And you brought up a great point about that. Sometimes that brattiness or that submissive type, it allows in that space for you to do things like be bratty, be kind of authoritative in your own right, because it's giving you a safe space to kind of do that while still having that other person's role in play. So tell me a little bit about like how that looks in your life, like what that looks like in practice for you.
Like the sub is sweet and tiny and cute. The dom is big and powerful. I like to defy that all the time. And then sometimes I love the nurturing aspect of a dom role too. That I can be a sweet, caring. And like femdom was actually my way of really exploring through how quinkiness could help me through my trauma and help me through those deconstruction things. And so um, I love playing into that. I have had a lot of interactions where, somebody wanted me to be a certain way, wanted me to be soft and sweet as a sub, or hard and aggressive as a dom. But I didn't like that. If I'm a dom, I don't like um, doing degrading names. I don't like calling somebody bad words. If I'm a dom, I don't like to hurt somebody to a point where it's questionable for me. But that takes a lot of communication and effort. You can't just put that on somebody, like, you know. Um, and I think that's where things kind of get haywire. And then, of course, for me, being a sub is very, very vulnerable. I'm only a sub around so many different kinds of people that I really know. And if I try to find a new person and I come out with, I want to be a sub, I'm immediately put into that role. And I do not like that. I think the way that you educate and the way that Quinky is going to provide that education is just really going to help people with that ability to communicate, ability to really have that back and forth conversation that is really needed in the Quink world. But also for me, coming from that trauma of like my sexuality was with a man and being able to ask for my needs, ask for what I want, my boundaries, that's where Quink really helped me deconstruction in the process of like where I can go and my boundaries. So that's why it's such a pet peeve for me because it really brings up those old little narratives in my brain that I've been really trying to like deconstruct them.
I do really like when that subject comes up because I think it makes people sit a lot with some of those ideas that they have. Like you said, it turns a lot of people off of the kink community because they are being shown one very small, very niche area of what is a very, very wide array of
Yeah.
relationships and dynamics and things like that. When it comes to you personally, because I know everybody's answer is very different, there is no right or wrong answer to this. But for you personally, since you say you're a switch, which space, if there is just one, which space do you feel like has been the most pivotal for your healing in that process, being in the more like dominating role or in the submissive role?
Oh goodness, that is such a hard question for me. I feel like
I
both,
know, I know.
right? Like both played such a huge role. I will say, like, having, oh gosh, having the ability to have that control in the bedroom and be able to say what's going on in that dominant role was really helpful for me. Because once I got out of my marriage and I deconstructed out of my faith system, I was really left with not being sure of what felt safe for me anymore. And so being a femdom, which is kind of where I felt comfortable when for me that was really healing. Having that control, being the one that could dictate the scene and to see that what would come across as a masculine person kind of be soft as well and have them just like follow my lead and them being able to communicate what they need and also respect my need. I just felt like being in that dom role really, really comfortable. And of course, being a little bit bratty with it or having a brat too, that was always a little fun because having that little bit of a power struggle in a safe space was so healing. Because it always felt like before that, I had a power struggle that wasn't safe. It sounds very like counterintuitive, but once you kind of start to understand that a power struggle can be fun, like playing or, having that little bit, it's just that was really freeing.
I think that even though it seems counterintuitive, I think it does make a lot of sense when you kind of explain it to people that like it is the difference in the play fight being entirely within the bounds that you helped set and agree to versus the power struggle happening when it's a real struggle and not like a play fight. And I like that people kind of have that ability to explore that in a safe place, that there is like this box around them that within that they're completely safe to be doing this type of play, and it helps them kind of find their boundaries again, because it's the question authority thing, which is ultimately what bratting is questioning authority in some sort of manner. And in a religious background, the questioning of authority is incredibly looked down on.
Yeah, it's a very great experience. And I wish I had more resources. I wish I had more people to rely on back when I was going through that. And so being part of Quinky, showing off products, showing off scenes, things like that, that can help other people deconstruct or even just embrace their sexuality is really what I'm all about.
So does that mean that like for you exploring being a dom came before exploring like being in a more submissive space?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Being a dom, I started that first and like started having those interactions and really feeling healed and free to be able to have that. And then slowly I had these conversations where those connections that I already established as a dom or as a, that kind of switchy bratty vibe, um, allowed me to cultivate a safer and safer spot that I was willing to lean in and try being a switch or being a submissive. Reading some smut books really helped me feel so much better about being submissive. Because to me, I had this like narrative that, oh, if I'm submissive, I'm right back into the be a good housewife, be a good and like serve your man, that kind of mentality. But then when I started reading smut books, I saw other or read other scenes being played out and how much actual power and control a sub has.
So when it comes to like content creation,
Mhm.
either like the modeling or any of your content creation, what have you noticed has been like the biggest struggle that you have had to deal with?
Ooh, yeah. Dang. I feel like, and this is gonna be really relatable. I feel like every step of the way I've had to really like battle my own obstacles in my own head. Um, my body image, my self image, the fact that there might be family who sees it, or there might be friends who see it, and all of that, and just that self presentation in person. Ironically enough, in person, I am comfortable with speaking in a crowd, speaking to a lot of people in different ways. But it's something about being online or showing photos of myself that I've just always been like, all right, we're going to post this. I might immediately hate it, but I'm going to step away. And then when I come back, I end up loving it. And especially when it comes to the more like sensual shot or like uncovered shots, those are the most vulnerable and the most scary because I had been taught that that kind of way, that presenting yourself as a woman that way was not good, it was bad, you were the devil, things like that. And so like reworking through those things and saying, actually, no, like this is just a human body. This is my human body that I love showing off. And that's not a bad thing at all. In fact, I think that's really what a lot of us are meant to do.
When you talk about like the worry of like people that you know or family like seeing the content, things like that, is this something that you still struggle with? And if it's something that's kind of gotten better over time, did it get better because they did see it and it just ended up not being the scary thing you thought it would be? Or did you finally just get to the point that you're like, you know what, I don't even care, I did, so you see it, so what?
It's pretty much the second one there. So for me, a lot of my family still doesn't know that I'm doing a lot of this. Um, they are also religious, so I'm just kind of gotten to that point now in my own personal growth and journey, having a support system outside of my family that that support it, that kind of just uplift me in it. That's been helpful, but I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't I don't care because I've spent so long in this box, so long in this little tiny container that I'm just ready to be out of it. I'm ready to just be who I want to be, sexual, non sexual, what have you, in any space. I want to take up the space of my own self.
I love that. So, since this conversation obviously will be seen by more people than just you and I, so because this is such a common thing that we see in the kink world, if you could talk to the people that come from a similar background as you, that are either just raised in a very religious background or experienced religious trauma because of that, and are at any given point in their own personal journey away from it, but their family, like yours, still very much back in the religious side of it, what do you want to say to them?
What I would love to say to them, and this is what I needed to hear when I was going through it, is that you will find freedom outside of that box that you're living in. And you will find that no matter what they say, what they do, living the life that you feel inside of you is calling you is going to be so freeing. And you'll find that the relationships that you need in your life to support you, to lift you up, will come. You will find those people, you will find that group that you tell them about your sexuality, the things that you do, and they won't even blink an eye. They will be cheering you on. And at the end of the day, the most important relationship in all of this is the relationship with you. And the fact that you are doing this for you, and be patient and gracious with every step. Because you're going to have those little monsters or goblins, as I call them, come up in your brain that tell you that same thing that you're trying to remove. Just keep pushing through it, because you'll find yourself on the other side and you're like, wow, why didn't I do this sooner? That fear is going to be there every step. That shame is going to be there every step. That voice in your head is always going to be there every step. But every moment you choose to ignore it and continue on and focus on it, the thing that you want to do, the content you want to make, the art you want to make, that is what you'll find yourself in your freedom. And I encourage anybody to do it. And I'm here for it. I want to see it. And I've been there before, so I know you can do it.
I love that. I'm gonna like clip that part of that recording and just play that daily as my like morning affirmation routine. That was like right off the top of your head too. That was kind of incredible how deep that was, like just off the top of your head. To go in a completely different direction with the feel for you, what is the thing that is what you're looking forward to the most about working with Shop Quinky?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to working with the community and the people a part of it. I can't wait to wear people's art. I can't wait to show off people's clothes. I'm just like, I'm stoked. I'm itching for it. I can't wait to be a part of different videos, photos, anything that like other content creators want, that crafters want. I'm here for it. And I'm excited to like boost it up to like I said, be the little cheerleader that everybody needs. Cause at the end of the day, like there's a lot of shit going on in the world. We need some space, some community to just have some fun, to let go and to just see the beautiful parts of people. And maybe be a little bratty and switchy along the way.
I could not agree more. Danie, tell people where they can find you, other than the fact that you'll be on Shop Quinky. Where else can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok right now under Danie the Smalls, all lowercase, just the way it is. Feel free to, engage with the content. And I look forward to being on a couple other platforms, but for now, that's where I'm at.
Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate you sitting down with me today.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure to speak with the one and only Moxie Rose.
I appreciate that. Thank you.